The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
Pow. What's up, guys? Well, I got another Bad Damn story for you. It's good to see you guys here today. You know, throughout the course of life, we live and we learn. And every day is a new beginning. You wake up, you get out of bed, you breathe some air, maybe you do some push-ups, eat some good food, spend some time with your family, go to work, make a couple dollars, and you just keep on doing the same thing every day, right? Your heart's pumping, and you put yourself around good people. You know, growing up, when I was a kid, was the same thing. You did the same thing every day. You left the house, you hung out with your friends, you see who you could scheme, you see where you can make some money. And life wasn't easy. You know, I grew up, my mom was a single mom, had two siblings. We had to pay the rent. Sometimes the lights went off. Sometimes the phone went off. And the bills always came in. The rent always had to be paid. You always had to put food on the table. We had a couple good guys in the neighborhood that tried to put us in the right direction. But sometimes you wouldn't listen. You know, you always wandered off and you always wanted to make extra money. Find a way to make extra money in your pocket. And someday, you know what, be successful and become rich. I mean, that was what we all wanted growing up. We wanted to be like the guys on the corner, right? Guys in the social club. Get a good scheme, make money, reinvest it, and collect every week. And someday, you know what, be successful and hopefully be a wise guy. Now, as I grew up and things change in life, you know, you see your friends getting murdered. It's something I didn't want in my life no more, you know. But I wanted to share these stories with you. I got a couple photos I'm going to throw up of Paulie G. Now, Paulie G was a great kid. Anybody out there who knew him knew how big of a personality he had. He would do anything he can to help you. He was a tough kid. He was a class act. And he wasn't always a killer. You know, he started killing after John Polio was murdered. He was very friendly with John Polio. And I guess after he seen that John Polio was murdered and how the neighborhood was run, people were getting killed left and right. And you had to stand up for yourself. If you didn't stand up for yourself, then you would become a victim or prey. So that's when we formed the Bad Avenue crew. We got together, we got numbers on our legs, and we said, you know what? This ain't going to happen to us again. And Paulie G was the leader. Paulie G was number one. I got a number two. Reynolds was a number three. We all went together. Me, Tommy Reynolds, and Paulie. And then after we got our numbers, Paulie made a couple other guys get their numbers. Now, looking back, there's so many stories I can tell. I remember the time after Tommy Reynolds killed that woman. The next day, I woke up and I said to myself, I said, what the fuck was I involved in? You know, Tommy Reynolds calls me and I tell him, I said, Tommy, I said, what the fuck happened? I said, how'd you do that? And he said, Jimmy, he says, I don't know. I don't know how I pulled that trigger. I said, Tommy, it's fucking crazy, man. I said, I mean, now we got to live with this shit. He said, Jimmy, I know I'm going to go to hell for this. This is what he told me. He said, Jimmy, I'm going to go to hell for this. said, Tommy, I said, it's fucking, it's messy. It's a disaster. So we go meet Paulie G, and we explained to Paulie G what happened because the kid Mike Yamini was there, and the kid Chris Pacello was there. And Paulie G tells the kid Mike Yamini, you never talk about this again, okay? And it was a big thing, So Chris wants to meet me, and I meet Chris. I take a ride with Paulie G to Staten Island, and Chris meets me in front of the Victory Inn, the hotel near Victory Boulevard. It used to be the Victory Inn. Now it's the Ramada. And he comes with Lee DeVanzo. Now, I was very friendly with Lee. Back in the day, Lee was a good car thief. There was one time when Lee stole this Corvette, and I had a Corvette, and it had new tires and rims on it. It was like a 1989 Vet he robbed. And he calls me, he says, Jimmy, I got these tires and rims. He said, you're interested in buying the rims? I said, yeah, sure. I said, drive the car to Brooklyn, come to Bay Parkway and Bay 29th. There was a tire shop off the corner over there. And we'll just exchange my rims and tires, put it on the stolen Vet, and you give me the new ones. And we pulled up, and the guy just, with the zit, took the tires off, exchanged them on my car to his car. And I said, Lee, thanks a lot. I gave him $500, and he hopped right back on the highway, went right back to Staten Island. I went towards Bay 23rd, picked up Paulie G, went for a ride. So when this happened with the woman, Chris wanted to talk to me. And I said, Paulie, so you want to come with me? He said, yeah, sure. So I'm talking to Paulie G on the way there. And I didn't know Chris was going to bring Lee. I thought he was going to meet Chris by himself, but I'm sure he was going to bring somebody to make sure he was protected. Who knows? He might have caught a delusion on me. He might have wanted me killed. But we meet at the Victory Inn. Chris gets out of the car. Paulie G is sitting in the passenger seat. I'm driving Paulie G's Cadillac. Paulie G had a brand new Cadillac at this time. And Paulie G tells me, he says, Jimmy, he says, I'm going to kill both of them. I said, no, Paulie. I said, no, you don't have to do that. He says, Jimmy, I'm telling you, listen, kill them both, and this is behind you. This way I don't have to come back up later and hurt you. And I said, Paulie, I said, we don't have to do that. I was the type of guy, I didn't want to kill just to kill. I mean, Paulie understood this life more than I did, and he was the leader of our crew. And I knew what he was saying. He was trying to protect me to make sure this don't come back to haunt me later. But eventually I knew it was going to haunt me. I had it on my mind and in my heart where I wanted to get it out. I didn't want to hold on to that big burden of keeping that secret forever. And when I let it out, I was happy to let it out. But I talked to Chris. We don't end up killing them. And we have a conversation where if anybody was to ever talk about this again, that they're a rat. So this woman's name would never, ever come out again until we all got indicted on it. Now, Mike Yamini was the one to come forward. He was running around at the time selling drugs. He was on that DeRosa case. DeRosa gave him up. And every time the feds pinched a crew, they would build another case by the guys that came forward. Now, I was in jail for 6 years, from 93 to November 98. I was on the street for 11 months. So when I came home, Paulie was dead. They killed Paulie G in July of 93. I got picked up in May. So I meet Chris at the Victory Inn. We have a quick conversation. Anyone ever talks about this again, they're a rat. We never spoke about it again. I get picked up. The only time I ever spoke to Chris was when I was in the feds and Chris sent me a couple of dollars. I think he sent me a $300 money order. And I had Chris's phone number in my address book. Now, before this was all going down, and once they picked up Fabrizio, Tommy Reynolds, Joey Calco, Chris was trying to reach out to me. He got Black Dom to try to talk to me. So Andrew Reynolds is running around. He says, Jimmy, would you talk to Black Dom? I said, Andrew, sure, I'll talk to Black Dom. And Black Dom wants to talk to me about Chris. And we never had that conversation because we got picked up. Obviously, they barged in my door, picked me up, and then they picked up Chris. Now, my information when I came forward was I gave up Chris. I stood up for as long as I can in MDC. I saw Fabrizio in the building. I was on the same floor as Ali Boy Persigo, and there was 2 Albanian kids there. Fabrizio was on the same floor as me. Tommy Reynolds was on a floor below me. Mikey Bloom was on my floor. I did some time with Mikey Bloom in '93. He eventually gets that case overturned, him and Sally Fusco, because Carmine Sessa comes forward, and he lets them go. He ends up telling the truth about what happened in that case, that they were never involved in what they were picked up for. And, once everything came out in the indictment that Joey Calco and Tommy Reynolds was the ones who killed Paulie, I didn't want anything to do with this no more. I didn't want anything to do with this life. And people were rolling left and right. Obviously Mike Yamini brought me in, brought Tommy Reynolds in. These guys, when I was away, were selling crack cocaine, doing all kinds of horrible things. They killed a 19-year-old kid, Joey Calco, Fabrizio, Tommy Reynolds. And they didn't make a good name for themselves. When Paulie G was alive, the Bath Avenue crew was very well respected. It was more, we were doing bad things. We were killing other kids in the neighborhood. For example, Paulie G killed the kid OJ with Chestnut. It was more of going back and forth, killing each other crews. Paulie G was tough with his hands. Him and the kid Richard Greaves really never liked each other. And Paulie G saw the kid Richard Greaves in the Vegas diner one time, and he gave him a fucking beating. He hurt him bad. And all those kids from Bay Parkway knew that they couldn't fuck with Paulie G. Paulie G was a tough bastard, and he lived up to his name, Paulie Brass. When he hit you, he hit you with a fucking shot. Boom. But to his friends, he would never kill any of his friends. He would always kill for his friends. That's how Paulie G was. So I'm going to throw up a quick picture of Paulie G. Here's a picture I found in this photo is Paulie G in the middle. You have John Padone has his arm around him, and John Padone has the Bath Avenue jersey on. Chestnut is there in that photo. Chestnut is maybe, I would say, 17, 18 years old. And Chestnut, too, all 3 of these kids were good kids. John Padone was a great kid, big personality. The kid went to more Super Bowls than anybody I know. Paulie G was a great kid. And Chestnut, too, was a good kid. Now, growing up in this neighborhood, what we did was we just became a product of our environment, okay? The history of Bath Avenue, where the men before us and the men before them, how they killed people, and they basically did the same thing as us, get involved in drugs, get yourself involved with wise guys, look up to the wrong people, kill for the wise guys, and eventually you think you're going to get straightened out. Paulie G really thought he was going to get straightened out after he killed Vincent Bickelman. That was the reason he did it. That was his incentive. Let me kill Vincent Bickelman for Anthony Spiro, and eventually I'll get my button. And then Jimmy, once I get my button, then eventually you'll probably get your button. And you know what? We'll have a nice crew. That's what Paulie really wanted to do, you know. But in the end, we all destroyed our lives. In this photo, John Padone, he's no longer here. He passed away. Paulie G, his own friends killed him. Tommy Reynolds and Joey Calco. Chestnut gets killed in front of his house. And this whole life is shattered. Every one of our lives were destroyed. Whoever had to cooperate, who went to jail for 35 years, who got murdered. It's just a sad story. It really is. But here's another photo I'm going to share with you. This is a photo of Paulie G, Chestnut on the bottom of Paulie G. Paulie G has his arm around Billy Bright. Billy Bright was a good kid. That's Anthony Bright. Anthony Bright was a good kid. His brother was Billy Bright. You got the kid Mark next to Billy Bright, Frank Caruso in that picture, and the kid Lorenzo on the bottom. Now, Paulie G's not here no more. Chestnut's not here no more. As you see, Paulie G got the black bomber on. Back in the day, those are the bombers we used to wear in the wintertime. But this is a nice photo I wanted to share with you guys. Just giving you an idea of back in the neighborhood how we used to take Polaroid photos and all line up and, just hang out with each other. That's a nice photo right there. That was near 200 Park. But those are the kids from Bay 23rd. And Paulie G, let me tell you, he had a heart of gold. He would do anything for his friends. And he would never kill his friends, that's for sure. There were so many times that they wanted to kill Joey Calco and Tommy Reynolds. And Paulie G stepped up to the plate. And he went to Tommy Karate. And Tommy Karate protected us. Okay? So, that was what Paulie G was. Paulie G was a tough guy. And nobody could fuck with Paulie G back in the neighborhood, believe me. None of those Bay Parkway kids with their hands, okay? The only way you could get rid of him is with a gun. And when he opened up that door to Joey Calco and Tommy Reynolds, he thought he was opening a door to a friend. But they fooled him. And they asked him for a glass of water. And they eventually killed him. Sad story, very sad story. Here's another photo of Paulie G. This is a nice photo of Paulie G. Paulie G was a handsome kid. All the girls loved him in the neighborhood. As you see, he has the Sergio Tacchini jogging suit on. He was a tough kid, heavyweight, 200-pounder. And he could use those hands, I'll tell you. He was good with his hands, very good. And nobody fucked with him, that's for sure. And in the end, his own friends killed him. Fucking sad story. Very, very sad. Fucking terrible. But looking back, I miss Paulie a lot. I wish that he was still here with us. I wish that a lot of my friends were still here with us. Little Georgie, John Polio. Here's a photo of John Padone. As you see, John Padone was a heavyweight. Look at him. You can see he was nice and healthy. John had big legs. He was a solid kid. And he was a tough kid too, John Padone. He was no slouch. And I miss that kid too. He was a great kid, John Padone. Here's a photo of little Georgie. This is little Georgie when he went to Big Angie's sister's wedding. He was very friendly with Modica. Big Angie's sister married Modica, and he was at the bridal party. Georgie, too, was a handsome kid. But these are all the lives that were shattered. All our lives were shattered. We thought that we were young kids growing up, in the neighborhood, thinking that we were big shots. We didn't know what we had. We all came from good families. Paulie G's family wasn't nobody in his family was a gangster. Nobody in my family was a gangster. Nobody in Chestnut's family was a gangster. You know, nobody in Joey Calco's family was a gangster. You don't have to be a gangster. You don't have to have a family member to be a gangster, that's for sure. Here's another photo of, this is when they killed Paulie G, where they left him on his kitchen floor. The homicide detectives took a photo of him. His mother walked into his kitchen and he was dead on the floor. Now, those are really good friends, aren't they? Fucking terrible. I look at this photo and I want to throw up. Seriously. But Paulie G will always be remembered in my heart. I love that kid. I know he did a lot of damage, he did a lot of bad things, but growing up, that's what we learned to do, bad things. I wanted to share this video with you because hopefully you kids out there, you don't follow in my footsteps or my friend's footsteps. It wasn't worth it looking back. I wish we all could have grew up together, worked together, went to each other's weddings. Our children could have played together and things like that. So I just wanted to share this with you. I hope I sunk something in. Until my next video, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.